We're good, yeah. You sure? Positive? You hear me? Yeah. Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ya. ¿Alguien está ahí? Sí, muy bien.
sends me to the peak. Without no regret, you got no love. Without no love, you got no regret. Without no regret, you got no love. A melody where I belong in this life.
Hi again, everyone. Fitzgerald Stadium for Sunday afternoon baseball as Post 22 takes its 10-game winning streak against Scottsbluff, Nebraska. With Mark Benetti, this is Tom Rudebush, and our cameraman director is Destin Human, and we are set for another game as Post 22 takes out a Scottsbluff team that just lost to the Post 22 Expos. I believe the final score was 6-3, and so that'll give Scottsbluff a 3-9 record coming in to this game against Post 22. Mark, the Hardhats won their 10th in a row last night against Post 320. They're 17-2 on the season, and it's funny. They're 17-2, but I personally think the team can play much better.
This team absolutely could be 19-0 right now. But there were 2 games earlier in the season where they just didn't finish. They didn't close out, and there was a lack of focus in the latter innings in order to secure what would have eventually been those 2 Ws. But nonetheless, this Hardhats team has still been playing some great baseball. But you and I have been talking about this the last 3 days that we've had baseball, is now this is the only thing that they have to focus on. So we will see better baseball. We'll see some different names thrown into the lineup, and we're going to see a little bit of that today. A couple of individuals that haven't gotten regular playing time in different positions will go out there on the defensive look and in the batting order. So it'll be interesting to see what this Hardhats club does against Scottsbluff. But before we keep going, I want to credit the Expos club for taking on this varsity squad and defeating them the way that they did 6-3 earlier. That is incredible, and it just goes to show how deep this Post 22 organization is, and that the Expos are doing some things right at their level to eventually take on some of these bigger name teams. So they're staying competitive. They're playing against these varsity-level organizations, and good things are happening.
Well, we have another windy day here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Imagine that. I don't think I can ever recall as many consecutive plain-out windy days as we've had this spring in Rapid City. And right now, the wind is blowing in from left center field. And it's been from the south-southeast from 14 to 20 miles per hour. And the current temperature is 85 degrees. We've definitely hit some summer weather here for our games, and it's good to see. And we're looking forward to this game against Scottsbluff here this afternoon. Post 22 hosting a special day for Special Olympics today. And some Special Olympic athletes are here, and one special athlete has been selected to throw out the first pitch for the game here this afternoon at Fitzgerald Stadium.
You said it perfectly, too, a couple of games ago, Tom, that Sunday day baseball, I should say, is your absolute favorite baseball in the whole world. And like you mentioned earlier on our de facto meteorology report, this is just a gorgeous day for baseball. It looks unreal. I'm definitely not surprised about this win, though. If there's one thing that I've learned, of the many things I've learned about weather in South Dakota, it's that it will always be windy here, and I can never explain it. Some days it feels like I'm going to blow away because I'm 145 pounds in wet hockey gear. Other days it feels like just a brisk pace, but nonetheless, it's absolutely gorgeous out here. Our public address announcer is beginning his naming of today's starting lineups for both sides, so let's go ahead and follow suit. There are 7 innings of regulation that are being played between both teams today. We're going to start off with Scottsbluff, Nebraska. They're batting in the top halves of the 7 innings in today's contest. Leading off for Scottsbluff is number 31, Trevor Garcia. He is patrolling center field. Batting second is number 5, Carlos Felix. Defensively, he's positioned at second base. Batting third is number 19, Brady Sint. He's patrolling left field. And in the cleanup spot for Scottsbluff is number 34, Cooper Buckhammer. He's the designated hitter today for his club. Batting fifth is number 28, Evan Hughes, defensively positioned in the hot corner at third base. Batting sixth is number 13, Braden Lofink. He is patrolling right field. Batting seventh is number 26, Trent Richter. He is the shortstop today for Scottsbluff. Batting eighth is number 11, Cody Snelling. He is the catcher and backstopper. And rounding out the batting order for Scottsbluff in the 9 hole is number 6, A.J. Powell, defensively positioned at first base. Number 36, Chase Loverchak is on the mound for Scottsbluff, and he'll take on the Hardhats as they are announced. in their batting order in the bottom halves of the 7 innings of regulation we have today. Leading off for the Hardhats is number 11, Walker Paz, defensively positioned at second base. Batting second is number 13, Zach Solano. Today he's serving as the designated hitter. Batting third is number 22, Cooper Bowman, playing at shortstop. Has to start a new hitting streak now. His streak unfortunately ended last night at 15 consecutive games with a hit. Batting in the cleanup spot, playing first base today, is number 31, Luke Ferdinand. Batting fifth is number 17, Todd Stevens. He is the catcher for today's starting pitcher for Post 22. Batting sixth is number 26, Holden Jackson. Today he'll patrol right field. Batting seventh is number 10, Riley McSherry. He is patrolling left field. Batting eighth is number 15, Carter Deming. He's playing in the hot corner at third base. And rounding out the batting order for Post 22 is number 12, Connor King, once again patrolling center field, and he has done just a spectacular job of that in the last couple of games Post 22's played. On the bump today for the Hardhats is number 20, Will Moore, who comes in with 14 innings of work under his belt. This will be his 7th game of the season and his 5th by virtue of a start. He has a pristine 3-0 record to protect, 10 strikeouts to 10 walks, a 5.5 ERA, and it's unfortunate, Tom, because the last couple of outings Will's had, teams have been figuring him out. They've been hitting him. He's had a small bit lack of control on some of his pitches. Will is at his best when he's keeping things simple, when he's not trying to overcomplicate with breaking pitches, and when he's attacking with a fastball. So here's hoping that we see that from the lefty today. And going back to a point I made about Zach Cholis, who got the start on Wednesday, is that the Hardhats really need these lefties to start producing in the pitching rotation. There are only 2 of them as far as where we're right now. I'm sure there's going to be some shuffling between us and the Expos as the season goes on. So maybe the Hardhats will pick up a lefty here and there, but it's important that these lefties contribute as well as they can, and that goes for Will Moore, who is a veteran of this Post 22 club.
We mentioned that last night about Riley McSherry. One of the things that Riley was battling here early in the season, teams were hitting pretty well against them, a 304 average, while they're hitting 309 against Will Moore going into the game tonight. So Will's kind of in that same situation Riley is. Try to get the number of hits allowed down, make sure he can get his bases on balls down, because he certainly has good stuff. And if he can get those 2 things accomplished, Will Moore is going to be a very good pitcher.
And to that respect, Tom, Will's allowed 17 hits on the season. He has 12 runs allowed as well. 11 of those 12 are earned. So it's not like he's a Kyle McGuire where he's getting bailed out. And Kyle's allowed 7 runs, but only 1's been earned. So that's why you're looking at Will Moore with a 5.5 ERA here. So it's unfortunate to see, but here's hoping that Will can get the job done today for this Hardhats club in the start. By the way, Tom, as you mentioned earlier, the Special Olympics team is out there as well, the Special Olympics baseball team, and great to see the Special Olympians out there. I must say, whether it's with Post 22 or it's with the Rapid City Rush hockey team, one of the high points of the year is when you get to see the Special Olympians come on out and be a part of something. They just bring so much energy and so much life to everything that we do in this community. And to see how well they represent themselves athletically and how they represent their community is fantastic. Josh Gilbert got to throw out the first pitch, somebody who is no stranger to not only Rapid City or sports, but most importantly, baseball. This is just such an outstanding gentleman. He serves as the primary public address voice of Little League Baseball in town. Great to see him throw out the first pitch. And a very little-known fact, unless you've talked with Josh, because he loves to let everybody know about it, is he was the 1 millionth fan to ever walk through Rushmore Plaza Civic Center Ice Arena and attend a Rapid City Rush game. And boy, we threw him a party that night, and it was something special.
Josh has filled in a few times here at Post 22 as the PA announcer over the years. Well, this is going to be a tough game for Scottsbluff. They only have, I think it's 3 reserves on the bench. There are 9 starters. They have 3 reserves, and they held the lead for the longest time, or for a short while, I guess, in the game against the Expos before losing by a score of 6-3.
Well, folks, we'll gear up for the United States national anthem. When we come back, Tom will have first pitch for this fourth showdown in 4 days for the Post 22 Hard Hats, their opponent, Scottsbluff, Nebraska. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on Hardhats-TV.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRAS IPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
Let's play ball.
Welcome to Hardhats-TV. As you see, Post 22 taking the field for this afternoon's game against Scottsbluff. And now the coaches will meet with the umpires, exchanging the lineups. And the first pitch of this game is just a few minutes away. Last night, Mark, we watched the Hardhats defeat the Rapid City Post 320 Stars 9-4. And we saw one of the best catches that I have seen in a long time. And you described it so well last night. Connor King, boy.
That's the whole reason why we gave him the MVP last night. Offensively, he only went 1 for 3, but his one hit was an RBI single. But defensively, he was just outstanding. I mean, I'm telling you, I know I've made the joke a couple of times here, Tom, but I seriously think he has twin turbo jets attached to his cleats somehow, because he got on his horse, he bounced off the wall, made a great catch, and that was at a key point in the game when it was still close, and Post 320 was starting to rally and get base runners in scoring position and really make something of it. So that really changed the complexion of this game. Connor's once again out in center field, so with that being said, let's go ahead and give you the defensive alignment for the Hardhats. Tom mentioned earlier that in just a few moments, the first pitch will be thrown, and the gentleman accomplishing that task is Will Moore with his perfect 3-0 record on the mound. He has paired up with Todd Stevens, who's the catcher today for the Hardhats. At first is Luke Ferdinand. At second's Walker Paz. At shortstop's Cooper Bowman. In the hot corner at third is Carter Deming. Left to right in the outfield, Riley McSherry, the aforementioned Connor King, and Olden Jackson.
So Will Moore will try to, I'm sure they'd like to get 5 innings out of Will today, and maybe more depending on his pitch count. Left-handed batting leadoff hitter. And the first pitch is a strike to Trevor Garcia, the center fielder for Scottsbluff, hitting .294 on the season. 3 doubles, a home run, and 5 RBIs. Here's the left-hander Moore's pitch is swung on, looped out into right field. Here comes the right fielder Holden Jackson, but he has to play it on the hop, and that ball was held up by that wind, which is blowing in from left center and center. Kind of knocked that ball down. And Garcia has a leadoff hit for the Zephyrs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tom. This wind is definitely going to play a factor, especially on the defensive side of things. It looked like it was going to be a routine catch for Holden, and the wind just killed it.
Here's a line drive to short, caught by Bowman. Throw to first for the double play. Felix, a .308 hitter, on the first pitch, lines it to Cooper Bowman, who fires over to Ferdinand for a 6-3 double play. And there are quickly 2 men down, and for Post 22, their 19th double play of the season.
And surprise, surprise, Cooper Bowman's right in the middle of it, too.
Brady Sintup, the left fielder, another left-handed batter, and he takes a pitch outside for ball 1. 3 straight left-handed hitters for Scottsbluff to start the game. Sint, their leading hitter on the season at .409. And Moore delivers up over his head for ball 2, and it's 2-0. He has only one extra base hit. That's a double. He's knocked in 5 runs. Swung on a fly ball to right. That's going to be held up. Jackson backs off under it, and he has it for the 3rd out. So, Will Moore gives up the leadoff single, but that's it. As post 22 turns a double play. No runs on a hit for the Zephyrs. They leave a man on base. We go to the bottom half of the 1st inning. The Hardhats nothing and Scottsbluff nothing. You're watching Post 22 Baseball on Hardhat-TV.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar. Coke Zero goes with...
Very nice 1st inning for Will Moore as he gave up that leadoff hit, but that was it. The double play started by Bowman on the line drive. And then a lazy fly ball for the 3rd out.
That prompts the Hardhats to switch from defense to offense, and Walker Paz, Zach Solano, and Cooper Bowman are due up for the Hardhats. They'll get their look at Chase Loverchek, who's the starting pitcher for the West Coast Zephyrs out of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Loverchek is paired up with his battery mate and catcher, Cody Snelling. At first is A.J. Powell, at second's Carlos Felix, at shortstop's Trent Richter, and in the hot corner at 3rd is Evan Hughes. Left to right in the outfield, Brady Sint, Trevor Garcia, and Braden Lofink.
Loverchek is a right-hander. He has all of 4 innings pitched on the season. No wins or losses. Given up a hit, 1 earned run. He's walked 6, and he has struck out 3. And throws a fastball outside to Walker Paz for ball 1. Walker hitting .360. 4 doubles on this year and 8 RBIs. And here's the pitch. A strike at the knees over the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the pitch. Outside and high, 2 balls and a strike.
The thing that makes Walker so lethal in the leadoff spot is not only can he hit, not only can he get on base, but he sees so many pitches. His patience is his best weapon.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, bounced foul outside of 1st, and the count is all even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And that patience is also why Walker is averaging almost a base on balls per game. He has 7 on the season, and this will be the 9th time in which he's played for the Hardhats.
And the 2-2 pitch. Another bouncer off to the right, and the count runs along at 2-2. Mentioned the Hardhats' 10-game winning streak. Their last loss was 3 weeks ago today in Cheyenne. And in that game, they held a 7-0 lead before losing 12-7. So they haven't lost in 3 weeks. Swing and a miss. The ball is dropped, but the catcher tags Paz, and there's 1 out. Off-speed breaking ball. Had Walker out in front of it. Good pitch by Loverchek, and he gets a strikeout to start the game. Here's Zach Solano in the role of the designated hitter today. And a slow breaking ball catches the outside corner for a strike. Zach has 3 doubles on the year. Couple of triples, 4 home runs, 25 RBIs. Solano at .353 coming into the game. And the pitch is low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Big stat about Zach, 25 RBIs. How about 27 runs scored? He's 1 behind Cooper Bowman for the team lead in the runs scored category. When he gets on base, everyone's bringing him home.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, lined out into left field. Sent. The left fielder can't get to the ball. It's past him and bouncing off the fence below the scoreboard in left center field. And Solano has a stand-up double here with one out in the bottom of the first inning. Zach's fourth double of the season. And here's Cooper Bowman, the shortstop.
Well, that hit is an exact example of how this wind is going to help, because now it's starting to blow out into left. Zach, it was a nice, well-hit ball, but the wind helped to carry over the head of Sint. Made for an easy double for number 13.
Bowman hitting .417, 6 doubles, 4 triples, 3 home runs, and 20 RBIs. And Cooper dumps it out in the left field for a base hit. That's going to score Solano. And it's now a 1-0 post-22 lead. Well, Cooper, who lost his hitting streak last night, starts a new one here. And he gains his 21st RBI of the season.
Well, hit ball by Cooper Bowman. He was in attack mode from start to finish on that. Only saw one pitch, but that's all he needed to give the Hardhats their 1-0 advantage now.
Here's Luke Ferdinand playing at first base, batting cleanup. And he takes a pitch just outside for ball one. Luke at .290. So far in the year, he's got 2 doubles, knocked in 6 runs. Powell holding with the runner at first. The pitch is a strike at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lovercheck ready, delivers. The runner goes. The pitch is a strike and a double pump and no throw by Snelling, the catcher. And Bowman will have his 14th stolen base of the season.
And that 14 stolen bases leads the team by quite a wide margin.
The count to Ferdinand now with the pitch a strike is 1-2. And a swing and a miss for strike 3, that off-speed pitch. So Luke goes down, second strikeout of the inning for Lovercheck. And now the catcher Todd Stevens coming up.
Oh, that off-speed pitch is really giving these Hardhats fits. That's exactly how Lovercheck has his 2 strikeouts. Both Paz and now Ferdinand getting ahead of it. So you'd like to see those Hardhats, now that they know it's coming, the second time through the lineup, maybe they'll sit on that pitch and then wait to drive it.
Well, Todd Stevens has 5 hits on the season and 6 at-bats. And he has 3 doubles among those 5 hits as he takes a pitch low. Right-handed batter catching in place of Timmy Paris, being given the afternoon off. Here's the set by Lovercheck and his pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and one on Stevens. Cooper Bowman, the runner at second with 2 outs. A run in here for post 22 in the first inning. Line drive down the left field line. Another hit for Stevens. That'll roll into the corner for extra bases as Bowman scores. And Todd has another hit, his 4th double of the season. He drives in his 7th run. And Todd now with 6 hits in his first 7 at-bats this season.
Well, good on Todd Stevens to get an opportunity to get in the lineup and contribute. Came into the game hitting .750 with runners in scoring position. So with Cooper Bowman on second, it was almost a no-doubter that he was going to find a way to drive him in. Good on Stevens for taking advantage.
Holden Jackson up, and he hits one ball to short and through in the left field. Stevens around third, he'll score, and it's 3-0. Holden Jackson, who was hitting .200 with 4 RBIs, hits a ground ball single into left field. And a 3-0 post-22 lead here in the bottom of the first inning.
Well, a nice little 2-out rally here for the Hardhats. And credit Holden Jackson. Wasn't the greatest hit in the world, but he got extended, was able to push the ball through the hole between third and short. The third baseman over there, Evan Hughes, was borderline tight-roping that third base foul line, so it opened up a hole about the size of a Mack truck, and Holden Jackson took advantage of what he saw.
Riley McSherry coming up for the Hardhats. Riley at .200 on the season, 6 hits and 30 at-bats. Right-handed batter. And he takes a pitch high for a ball. Riley has 1 double, and he's driven in 6 runs. Jackson at first base now with 2 outs. Levercheck out of the set. The right-hander's pitch, swung on and fouled, back and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Post 22 hitting now .338 as a team. Here's the pitch, and it's a ball outside. When you're 17-2, of course, your stats are going to be much better than the opponents in almost every category. And Post 22 so far in 19 games has out-homered their opponents this season 18-3. And a pitch inside. So McSherry with a count of 3-1. Riley will look this pitch over carefully. Carter Deming on deck. Outfield straightaway. Here's the pitch, and it's low for ball 4. So McSherry walks. First walk given up by Levercheck, and there are 2 outs, runners at first and second. And Carter Deming up, the third baseman. Carter hasn't had a lot of at-bats on the season. 3 hits and 27 at-bats, hitting .111. And he takes the pitch down low for a ball, 1 RBI. He's been playing such great defense this season that in the late innings of games, Coach Mitch Messer has been putting Carter in at third base defensively. And now Levercheck steps off the rubber. Jackson retreats to second. Here's the pitch, up over his head. And Carter has accounted 2 balls and no strikes, and now Levercheck has kind of lost the plate.
Look for Carter to have a big day offensively here. It's only a matter of time before he breaks out of the schneid and starts hitting on a regular basis.
And the pitch is low for ball 3. 3-0 on Deming.
And to the point that you made, Tom, he's so capable and just unbelievable defensively that if he can get his bat moving, you'll have a 2-headed monster there at third base with Justin Kramer alongside him.
3 balls and no strikes on Deming. Levercheck's pitch, and that's in for a strike, and it's 3-1. Three and one. Here's the pitch. A line drive foul down the left field line. And the count is full at 3-2. So with 2 outs, the runners will be off and moving on this pitch. Powell at first base is playing a deep first, back of McSherry. Here's the set by Levercheck. The runners go. The pitch on the way is outside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks, and Post 22 has loaded the bases now with 2 outs here in the first inning, and Connor King coming up to center fielder. 300 now for Connor on the year. He has 3 doubles, a home run, and 15 RBIs. Here's the windup by Levercheck and his pitch. Connor looks at a breaking ball, strike over the inside corner.
Connor had an RBI single last night with the bases loaded. He has a glorious opportunity to add even further to his total of ribbies.
1 strike the count. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and rolled foul in back of home plate. And Lovercheck works ahead 2 strikes. Chase Lovercheck. He should be playing hockey with a name like that.
Can't disagree with that sentiment.
2-strike pitch. A fly ball to left field. Can Sint get this one? He's under it out there, and he has it. Again, the wind kind of held that ball up, and King is retired on a fly ball to left. 3 runs in the first inning for Post 22. They had 4 hits in the inning. No Scottsbluff errors, and Post 22 leaves 3 men on base. End of 1. The Hardhats lead the Scottsbluff Zephyrs by a score of 3-0. And you're listening to Post 22 Baseball, and you're watching it here on Hardhat-TV.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Moore had a good first inning. Gave up a leadoff single to Garcia, then got the double play and the fly ball to right, but was very efficient with 6 pitches in that first inning. And we'll see what he does here in the second. Cooper Buckhammer, the designated hitter, up. He sounds like he should be a football player. Here's the pitch to Buckhammer, and he fouls it. Scottsbluff actually goes by the name of Wesco, the Wesco Zephyrs. I'm assuming that's a county name. Post 22 has played them over the years many times, although not a lot lately. As the pitch comes a little bit high for a ball, and it's 1-1. Here's Will Moore's pitch. Swung on line to left. McSherry going back, but that's over his head and rolls to the fence in left field. And Buckhammer is going to have a sliding double by an inch at second base. Boy, Buckhammer, I'm not sure if he just thought that there was going to be no attempt to make a play on him at second, whether he kind of half-hearted it to second, but there is no way that play should have been that close.
And Walker Paz was making the argument that he got him and was not happy with the umpire's ruling that he was safe.
That's Buckhammer's first extra base hit of the season. He was hitting .241, and now Evan Hughes up, the third baseman. He swings and misses, strike 1. Hughes is hitting .375 with a couple of RBIs for the Zephyrs. No extra base hits. 9 for 24. And a let-up is in for a strike. 0-2 the count.
Here's something interesting to point out, Tom. Hughes is the 4th lefty out of 5 batters Will Moore's faced, and on deck, Braden Lofink, also a lefty.
I was trying to remember who had a lot of left-handed hitters here a few games ago. Slow breaking pitch in there. Strike 3 called to Hughes. Moore gets his first strikeout. That'll bring up Braden Lofink, the right fielder. Lofink on the season, just 143, 5 hits and 35 at-bats, but he does have 3 doubles out of his 5 hits. Left-handed batter looks at a strike. Knocked in 3 runs. Buckhammer at second with 1 out here in the top half of the second. Post 22 out in front here by a score of 3-0. As Scottsbluff bats. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, a roller foul up the first baseline. 0-2 the count.
To answer your question from the other night, Tom, that was Watertown who started off this string of games in 4 consecutive days. Watertown had about 5 left-handers in the lineup.
No balls and 2 strikes on Lofink. And the pitch. Big breaking curveball. Strike 3 called. Boy, that one really was slow and it had a big bend to it. Second strikeout for Moore, and there are 2 outs now. In the second for Scottsbluff, and Trent Richter up the shortstop. He's a right-handed batter. Richter's got an interesting statistical line on his season stats. As he takes a pitch low and inside, good block there by Stevens. He's had just 1 hit so far in 20 at-bats. So his average is .050, but they have him for 6 RBIs. In fact, he had an RBI in the first game against the Expos. Moore's pitch. Rolled towards short. Fielded by Bowman. Guns it to first base for the out. Scottsbluff retired in the second. They waste that leadoff double by Buckhammer. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second from Fitzgerald Stadium. The Hardhats 3, Scottsbluff nothing. You're watching Post 22 Baseball here on Hardhat-TV. Post 22 comes to bat here in the bottom of the second. They sent 9 men to the plate in the first inning, scored 3 runs on 4 hits against Chase Lovercheck, who did have a couple of strikeouts. Well, next Wednesday is the next home game here at Fitzgerald Stadium, and Pierre will be the opponent. The varsity game will start at around 7:30 on Wednesday night, and you'll want to circle that on your calendar and do not have dessert after supper before you come to the game, because that's Pie Night. Join us for our annual Pie Night at Fitzgerald Stadium. Get your ticket at the gate for a chance to win a pie. And we will be drawing winning ticket numbers during the game for a pie of your choice. Over 60 pies to be given away on Wednesday night as Walker takes the ball low and outside.
Sounds like my kind of night.
I wonder if I could bribe one of the mothers to send a pie up here. Here's a strike, and it's 1-1 on Walker. Walker Paz struck out swinging his first at bat. When it comes to pie, there are no rules. Here's the pitch, swinging and a foul at the plate. 1-2 now on Walker. Zach Solano and Cooper Bowman to follow here in the top of the second. I should say the bottom of the second. I think you said your favorite pie last night, you told me, was pumpkin.
Pumpkin pie with Cool Whip.
Well, mine is chocolate cream. Pitch outside to Paz with light Cool Whip. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Paz. They shade him around to the right in the outfield. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled down and back. Garcia out in center, shading over in right center field on Walker. So a pretty good gap in left center field. I tell you, any ball hit the left center and center is going to be driven down by that wind. Pitch to Walker. Swung on and popped up. Let's see if this stays in play. The wind is going to push it back, and it's going to be blown out of the field. Right up against the screen, and the count's still 2-2. There's a ball under normal circumstances that probably would have been playable by 15 or 20 feet. Two and two on Walker Paz. Lovercheck's pitch. Hit through the hole to left, a base hit. Fielded by Sint out there, and Walker has a single. Hit number 5 for post 22. And that'll bring up Zach Solano, who doubled to left center his first at bat. Scored a run. Neither player that has a hitting streak right now is in the lineup today. Eric Petrie, who hit the home run last night in his last at bat to extend his streak to 13 games in a row, is getting a rest. And Zach Sumption now has actually hit in 5 games in a row, but he's not in the lineup tonight. Here's the set by Lovercheck. The pitch to Solano. Swung on and pop foul, back and out of play. 1 strike. Powell holds with Paz, who leads from first base. Pretty good lead by Walker. There he goes. He got a great jump on a hit and run play, and Solano fouls the pitch off. 0-2.
I got to tell you, even looking back to last night, Walker's base running has just been phenomenal. He's been getting great jumps off of the pitcher's motion, and had Zach not fouled that off, no doubt he would have been safe. There wouldn't have even been a throw, because by the time the throw would have come, he would have already been standing on second.
No balls, 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. Swung on a fly ball to center. Garcia will have it as the wind holds it up. Boy, Solano hit that ball a long way to center into the teeth of that wind. There's the first out. Paz hangs on at first, and that'll bring up Cooper Bowman. Cooper singled to left center, knocked in a run in the first inning. So he's got his hitting streak reignited here. He'll have to start another one. He hits a roller towards short. Richter fields it, throws to second base, just in time. Force out of Paz. 6-4 on the force out. And Cooper Bowman becomes the runner at first with 2 down. And that'll bring up Luke Ferdinand, the first baseman. Luke struck out in an off-speed pitch, his first at bat. I think the coach of Scottsbluff is coming out, wanting to know if there was a slide that should have been ruled a double play, but I don't think he's got much of an argument from my viewpoint.
I'd have to agree with that, Tom. That looked fairly routine on both sides of it. And keep in mind, Cooper's hit wasn't the strongest hit in the world, so it did take a while to get to shortstop for Richter to field it to make the play at second. So I personally think just on that alone, the double play wouldn't have come, period. I don't think Walker sliding into second had anything to do with the fact that it was only 1 out instead of 2.
I'll tell you, that was a pretty close play at second, whether he was even out. I wouldn't press my luck. Here's the pitch to Ferdinand, a bouncing ball sharply hit. 2 hops to Felix at second base, and he'll throw to first for the out. So Luke went after that first pitch. He's out second to first. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on. No Scottsbluff errors. 2 complete here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Post 22-3, Scottsbluff nothing. You're watching the Hardhats on Hardhat-TV.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Will Moore's day has come to a surprising conclusion as he worked just 2 innings and threw 17 pitches, gave up 2 hits and no runs. He walked no one, he struck out 2. And I thought we might see Will for 4 or 5 innings today, but Mitch Messer's going to bring in Tommy Wall, the right-hander for the Hardhats. Tommy Wall on the season pitched 10 2/3 innings. This is his 7th appearance, his 6th relief appearance. 10 2/3 innings, he's allowed 13 hits, walked only 3, he has struck out 14, and his earned run average is 2.63.
Now that's the glaring thing about Tommy's game that stands out. 14 strikeouts to 3 walks. There are only 2 other pitchers on this staff, maybe 3, including Zach Cholis, that can come close to that. Riley's at 20 strikeouts to 8 walks. Colton Trubinsky's at 18 strikeouts to 8 walks, and Cholis at 11 strikeouts to 3 walks. But Tommy, I mean, he's almost in an echelon of his own right now in that statistical category because he attacks batters. He has ice water in his veins, so nothing phases him. He just goes out and he pitches the game that he needs to pitch.
Cody Snelling, the catcher, leading off, and Wall's pitch is down low. Teams are batting .289 against Tommy on the season. Cody Snelling hitting .143 for the Zephyrs. He has 1 RBI, and he swings and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Scottsbluff here in the top of the 3rd. Hardhats leading 3-0. And a strike at the knees. 1 and 2 on Snelling. No extra base hits for him so far in the year. Run scoring has been a problem for Scottsbluff, averaging just 3.7 runs per game. And they have a team batting average of .234. Swinging a foul back. Snelling with a count of 1 and 2. They've hit only 1 home run as a team. That by Garcia. 1 and 2 the count. Tommy Wall's pitch. Breaking ball hangs inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Scottsbluff has played many of the teams Post 22 has played here early in the season. If you look at their scores, pitch is low and outside, and the count is full. Cheyenne, Gillette, Spearfish. Scottsbluff had won 3 out of 4 before their loss here to the Expos in the first game. They had a 2-0 win over Spearfish earlier. Swing and a miss. A pitch in on Snelling. Jammed him, and Tommy Wall gets his first strikeout. 1 down, and that'll bring up A.J. Powell, the first baseman for Scottsbluff, number 9 hitter. Here's the pitch. And it's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes on Powell. 0 for 6 on the season. 1-0 pitch, outside and low, and it's ball 2.
Tommy's got some great velocity as of recently, and obviously, first couple of pitches, he'll have that, no doubt.
There's a strike at the knees, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
But his confidence with the ball helps his velocity that more. He's not afraid to throw specific pitches.
Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bobby Bennett calling the balls and strikes in this game tonight, or today. And the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Good fastball from Moore. He just shaved that outside edge of the plate. Tommy has struck out the first 2 men he has faced. Tommy Wall. Trevor Garcia, the batter, the center fielder. And he looks at a strike. He singled to right in the first inning. There's a swinging strike 2, and it's 0-2. Boy, Tommy Wall has come on and throwing the ball by people. Pitch is low, and it's 1-2 on Garcia. No runs on 2 hits so far in the game for Scottsbluff. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. The Hardhats leading 3-0. Wall's 1-2 pitch inside and gets away from Stevens. 2-2 on the Scottsbluff center fielder. They have gray pants and orange tops. 2 balls and 2 strikes to pitch. Swung on and bounced foul up the first base line. So Garcia hangs in with a count of 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch. Another foul rolling off to the right of home plate. Scottsbluff, of course, part of the Scottsbluff Gearing area down in Nebraska, kind of the mini Twin Cities. Swinging a foul back. Gearing has their own team. They used to have a combined team many years ago between the two towns, but now Gearing has its own team. 2 balls, 2 strikes here with 2 out. Pitch on the way. Swung on, a fly ball to right. Jackson's under it out there. Holden puts it away. And that retires Scottsbluff in the top of the 3rd inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Tommy Wall. We go to the last half of the 3rd. And Post 22 leads by a score of 3-0 over Scottsbluff. Todd Stevens, the catcher, will lead off for Post 22. When we return in the bottom of the 3rd inning, you're watching Post 22 baseball right here on Hardhats-TV.
Things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Next home game for Post 22 is this coming Wednesday night again. It'll be a doubleheader with Pierre. Pierre will play a doubleheader against Post 320 on Tuesday night. Stay over in town and play here on Wednesday night. The Expos will play the first game at 5 o'clock, and then the Hardhats will play at 7:30 against Pierre. Post 22 swept Pierre on Memorial Day. In Pierre, you might recall, 8-4 in 8 innings in the first game, and then a 21-4 win in the second game. Then it's off to Denver for a weekend of games. Premier West out of Colorado will be the opponents for all 3 of those games. Here's a bunt towards third by Stevens. Here's the throw to first base, and the ball is into right field. And safe at first base is Stevens.
That looked a little dangerous there, Tom. The first baseman, A.J. Powell, went to reach, but he reached in the base path. And Todd Stevens ended up kind of clipping him. And granted, he was going to be safe regardless, but you never like to see plays that happen that close. And it's good to see that A.J. Powell's all right.
It'll be an error on the third baseman, Hughes of Scottsbluff. So Stevens is on. Here's Holden Jackson, who singled to left to knock in a run in the first inning. There goes the runner. The pitch is a strike to throw to second base. Not in time, and the ball goes on into center field. And Stevens, who gets a stolen base, advances to third on the error. So a stolen base for Todd. Throwing error on the catcher, Snelling. Second error in the game in this inning for Scottsbluff, and post 22 has a runner at third, nobody out, and the count to Jackson is 1 strike.
Now Holden Jackson has another opportunity to knock in another run with Todd Stevens taking advantage of those 2 bags.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Following the Denver road trip, post 22 will be home for the first big tournament of the season. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's too high for a ball. That'll begin on the 15th of June. Run through Sunday the 18th. That's Thursday through Sunday. Pitch to Jackson. Swung on, driven to center field. That'll score a run. Stevens will tag at third and score as Garcia makes the catch. And it's a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Holden Jackson. His second RBI of the game, unearned run against Lovercheck, and it's 4-0 post 22 here in the last half of the third inning.
Good contact made by Jackson. We saw last time the single that he hit, he took advantage of a hole between third and short. This time got some good wood.
Coke Zero Go
ball, I guess, if you want to call it that, and ended up drilling it to a deep part of right center.
There's a line drive foul down the left field line by Riley McSherry, who drew a walk his first at bat. One ball and no strikes, or no balls and 1 strike. Base is empty now with 1 out. And the ball low and outside. Here's the 1-1. And just outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. And the pitch. Outside corner, a called strike. 2-2 on McSherry. Carter Deming will bat next. Two-two pitch. Swung on, a high fly ball, foul, out of play down the right field line. Count runs along at 2-2 on McSherry, hitting 7th in the order for post 22. One of the struggles for Scottsbluff during the season with their 3-9 start on the year as the pitch comes into McSherry. Inside, ball 3. Post 22 came into the Tays game with 24 errors but 18 double plays. 2 errors in the game now for Scottsbluff give them 30 on the season against only 1 double play they've turned this year. There's a check swing, a little fly ball down the right field line. The wind pushing it towards the foul line, and it drops foul by 5 or 6 feet. So the count runs along at 3-2.
That would have been a very interesting double if that had landed fair, because you know Riley was about to turn and go to second, and he's got the Jets to take him there.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Chase Lovercheck, who started, he's still in there, delivers, and it's too high for ball 4. Second walk for McSherry. And Lovercheck issues his 3rd walk. And here's Carter Deming, who also walked. And looks like this is going to be all for Chase Lovercheck. Coach from Scottsbluff is coming out to the mound, and he's going to make the change here. So 2 1/3 innings for Lovercheck. Gave up a total of 5 hits, 4 runs. The run this one was unearned, so he's still responsible for McSherry at first base. He had 2 walks, and he had 2 strikeouts, both coming. He had 3 walks and 2 strikeouts, both coming in the first inning. So that brings in a new pitcher.
Alexis Garola, number 32, is now in.
Alexis Corolla. Gurola. It's a G. Gurrola. Alexis Gurola. Well, let's see what he's done on the season for the Zephyrs. Gurola, 6 innings pitched so far. And this is his third appearance of the season, his second relief appearance. He has 1 loss. He's pitched a total of 6 innings, allowed 14 hits, 14 runs, 11 earned, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Very early in the season, 12.83 ERA, but that can come down quickly this early. Throw to first base. Runner is back. Deming steps in now. Here's the pitch. Swung on a high fly ball down towards the left field corner. Sint giving chase, and it is fouled. Just fouled down into the left field corner. Well, that ball was pushed foul by that wind. One strike on Carter Deming, hitting 8th in the order. Here's the pitch, and it's high for a ball. It's 1-1. Corolla looks over at first base at McSherry. He goes. There's a little pop fly in the shallow left field. The third baseman can't get it. The shortstop can't get it. Nobody's covering third. McSherry to third. A pop fly single by Deming to left field. And Carter has a hit. Runners at the corners now with still only 1 out for Connor King.
That's an unfortunate miscue here for the Zephyrs defense with both third and short calling for that ball. One of those guys has to take control of that situation because, like you said, no one's covering third, so McSherry just takes the easy trot an extra 90 feet. So instead of having somebody 180 feet away from home plate, now he's 90 feet away, and it's not making anything any easier for you right now.
Yeah, and the guy who was responsible for that was the pitcher. And he wasn't over there where he should have been, so runners at the corners, and here's King, who flied to left his first at bat. Runner at first goes. The pitch is low, and no attempt will be made to throw out Carter as post 22 puts runners at second and third. There's that old adage, of course. A lot of times players will watch the game instead of playing the game, and just another little thing that a lot of people won't observe during the course of the game, but it cost him a base and cost him actually 2 bases with the steal. Here's a strike called to King. Connor flied to left his first at bat. He has a count of 1 ball, 1 strike. We're in the last half of the third inning. Post 22 out in front by a score of 4-0. Here's the set by Garola. Here's the pitch. And an off-speed breaking ball hangs outside, and it's 2-1. Two balls and a strike. And the pitch. Swung out a big bouncer. Second baseman can't make the play. It goes into right field. He was indecisive on how he should play it. 2 runs will score. McSherry and Deming. 6-0 now, post 22. Third error of the inning. Although I think in all fairness, you could credit Connor with an RBI. because the runner would have scored McSherry from third even if an out was made at first base. So credit King with his 16th RBI of the season, but no RBI on the second run. Walker paws up. He has struck out and singled to left, and Walker takes the pitch low for a ball. 3 errors in this third inning for Scottsbluff. Here's the set by Garola. The pitch, and it misses outside. 2-0, and Walker paws. Here's the set by Garola. The pitch on the way. Check swing strike on the outside corner. 2-1 the count. With Mark Benetti, Tom Rudebush here at Fitzgerald Stadium on a Sunday afternoon. Here's the pitch, and it's too high, and the count runs to 3-1. I have a craving for some ice cream right now. There goes the runner. The pitch is outside. It's ball 4, and Paz walks. Runners at first and second for Zach Solano.
All the while here, Tom, there's still only 1 out. You could easily have 2 because of that E4 that was charged. Heck, the E5 that was charged at the start of this inning, you really could be out of it right now.
Solano is doubled to left center and lined out to deep center. A big breaking ball is in for a strike. 1 strike on Solano. The runner at second is Connor King. The runner at first is Walker Paz. There is 1 out here in the last half of the third inning, and the Hardhats leading 6-0. Solano with a count of 1 strike. Garola from the set. Here's his pitch. High and inside. 1-1. And here comes the skipper of Scottsbluff out once again. He wants to talk things over here. He'll make the conversation brief as he heads back to the dugout. Mark Moran is the coach of Scottsbluff as there's a high fly ball into left field. Sint moving towards left center, calling for it out there, and he makes the catch. And tagging up and heading to third is King, and down to second base goes Paz, and Connor. That was kind of an odd, I don't know what that was into third base. A fly out for Solano. 2 down, runners at second and third.
I have to agree. That was, I don't know if he caught an edge or something when he was running in, or it was the way that he dove head first. And I don't know, there was just too much friction or whatnot, but he went flying head over heels into third.
So here is Cooper Bowman up and takes a breaking ball for a strike. Mark Moran, the coach, signed his lineup card, and I thought it was kind of neat what he wrote on it, too. Right after his name, he wrote, Coach Plouffe, R.I.P., rest in peace. Very nice from Coach Mark Moran of Scottsbluff. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball to center. Garcia moving towards right center, calling for it, and he has it to retire the side. So Bowman flies out. Well, a chance for Post 22 to really make it a big inning, but they do score 3 times in the inning. They had just the one hit. That was a single by Carter Deming. There were 3 Scottsbluff errors and post 22 strands 2. The Hard Hats have stranded 6 through 3 innings. We head to the 4th inning. It's 6-0, the Hard Hats leading Scottsbluff. Mark will be with you in the top of the 4th inning here on Hardhats-TV.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Why do so many business people trust us? Well, we're pretty nice folks, of course, and we really know our stuff. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
All set now for the top half of the 4th inning here at Floyd Fitzgerald Stadium. The post-22 Hard Hats have a 6-0 lead and look to keep it that way, as Tommy Wall comes back onto the mound for his 2nd inning of relief of today's starter, Will Moore. He'll take on 2, 3, and 4 in the Scottsbluff batting order. Carlos Felix, Brady Sint, and Cooper Buckhammer. Tommy Wall has 20 pitches under his belt in 1 inning. And to his credit, has 2 strikeouts on just 3 batters faced. Went 1, 2, 3 in his first inning of relief. Numbers across the board through 3 full frames. For Scottsbluff, no runs, 2 hits, 3 blemishes on defense, and the Hard Hats, 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Tommy Wall's first pitch to Carlos Felix rides up high for ball 1. Felix is 0 for 1. He lined into a 6-3 double play back in the top of the first inning in his first plate appearance. 1-0. Swung on and fouled at home plate, and the count evens up in a ball and a strike. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action today and for this season on ESPN Radio Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM on a normal basis. Today we are not on terrestrial radio. We are on Hardhats-TV, which can be found on post22baseball.com. And regardless of if we're on ESPN or not, we will be on that platform all season long to bring you everything you need to know about your Hard Hats. 1-1 from Tommy Wall. Rides a little too far inside and low. Carlos Felix has a 2-1 count. So Felix currently up. Brady Sint on deck. Cooper Buckhammer, the DH. Next pitch is swung on and hit high in the air. Foul territory right field side. That's going to go out of play, despite 3 gentlemen chasing that ball. And the count will even up at 2-2. So as we wait for the defense of the Hard Hats to reset themselves, we're right back to it. 2-2, Wall full windup deals. Swung on, and that ball's hit right up the middle. Cooper Bowman on a hop on the run, gets to it, throw to first is in time. 6-3 in the scorebook. Cooper Bowman once again flashing his defensive range. 1 up, 1 down now brings us to Brady Sint, the left fielder. So Carlos Felix now 0 for 2 on the ballgame. Brady Sint is 0 for 1. He flew out to right field his first time up. Left-handed hitting left fielder. First pitch he sees from Wall is low for ball 1. Tommy Wall now with 16 strikeouts to 3 walks on the season. Has just been sensational coming out of the bullpen. 1-0. Fastball low. Misses the zone. 2 balls, no strikes now to Sint. Cooper Buckhammer on deck has one of the only 2 hits for Scottsbluff in this game. 2-0 from Wall. Swung on, and that ball's once again hit to short. Bowman gets to it. To his left, throw to first is low, but it's in time. It's the Cooper Bowman show so far in this top half of the 4th. 6-3, 6-3 in the scorebook. 2 up, 2 down brings us to Cooper Buckhammer, the designated hitter. As I was mentioning moments ago, has one of only 2 hits in this ball game for the Zephyrs. That was a leadoff double to start things off in the top half of the second. First pitch. Misses low and away on the right-handed hitting DH. Wall starts off 1-0. Should Buckhammer keep the inning going, Evan Hughes is on deck. Next pitch misses low and away. 2-0 now to Buckhammer. And Hughes is 0 for 1 with a backwards K in the scorebook. One of only 2 strikeouts issued by Will Moore in his very brief 2-inning start. 2-0 from Wall. Fastball misses low again. 3 balls, no strikes to count. Buckhammer's a pitch away from a free pass, and that is a rarity coming from Tommy Wall's right arm. 3-0 pitch. That's a fastball at the knees called strike. 3-1 now the count from Wall to Buckhammer. Should Buckhammer be the final out, it's Ferdinand, Stevens, and Jackson due up for the Hardhats. The bottom of this inning. 3-1's a fastball on the outside corner, and now the count goes full to Buckhammer. Wall looking for his 3rd strikeout in relief. And another 1-2-3 inning. Payoff pitch from Wall. Swung on, and that ball is chopped to short. Surprise, surprise. Cooper Bowman throw to first is in time. It's the Cooper Bowman show defensively in the top half of the 4th. And it's also a 1-2-3 inning on a 6-3, a 6-3, and guess what? A 6-3. No runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. 3.5 innings are in the books, which means we are exactly halfway through the 7 innings of regulation we have slated in front of us. The Hardhats still maintain their 6-0 lead over the West Coast Zephyrs. We'll be back with the bottom half of the 4th. Luke Ferdinand, Todd Stevens, and Holden Jackson due up. You are watching and listening to Hardhats-TV, which can always be found on post22baseball.com.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
We're at halftime, if you will, for today's game against the Zephyrs of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Post 22 Hardhats protected their 6-0 lead, and now they look to blow it open as they transition once again from defense to offense and get set to take to the sticks here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Numbers across the board at halftime for the Zephyrs, it's no runs, 2 hits, 3 errors on defense, and for the Post 22 Hardhats, it's 6 runs on 6 hits and not a single blemish in the field. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudabush alongside you for all the action today and for this season and beyond. So we have once again another recognition of the Rapid City Special Olympics athletes out on the field. It's so great to see the Special Olympians get recognized for how they represent our community and for all their athletic accomplishments. It's always good when local athletes can help support local athletes, and whether it's with the Post 22 Hardhats organization or with the Rapid City Rush, who I also do the broadcasting for during hockey season, the Special Olympians they light up a room, and they're outstanding individuals, and they're out there singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" right now, which has been a long-standing tradition of baseball games since way, way back, and they get a standing ovation out there on the field. So the Post 22 Hardhats get set to take back to the offensive. That is Luke Ferdinand, Todd Stevens, and Holden Jackson scheduled to hit, barring any offensive substitutions for the Hardhats. Luke Ferdinand playing at first base today is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out to second. Todd Stevens, he's had quite the day. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI double, reached out an error, and both times he came around to score. And Holden Jackson, 1 for 1, a ribby single, and a sac fly RBI. So we look now to Ferdinand, who takes on Alexis Garola, who came in relief of Chase Loverchuk, who went 2 1/3 innings in his start. 6-0's the Hardhats lead. They're looking to blow it open. First pitch from Garola to Ferdinand. Rides a little too far inside on the left-handed hitting first baseman of the Hardhats, and he starts ahead 1-0. Luke Ferdinand on the season hitting .290. This will be the 12th game in which he has reached the batter's box. Here's a 1-0. Swung on, and that ball is pushed to left field. Underneath it is Sint. Moving to his right, he makes the catch. So an F7 in the scorebook, 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense. Now brings us to Todd Stevens. Ferdinand trying to go opposite field with that pitch. Whoever sit tracked it and was underneath it for the easy out. Stevens now up. Mentioned earlier, 1 for 2, a ribby double. Reached on an error, has a stolen base to his credit. He's come around to score twice. First pitch. Breaking ball in there for strike 1 on the inside corner. 0-1 now the start to Stevens, the backstopper. Only the 4th game in which Stevens is batted. He has 7 hits in 9 plate appearances. 0-1, swung on and drilled to left field. That ball is high, it is far, and it is gone. Todd Stevens absolutely destroyed that ball to left field. It's a 1-out solo home run for number 17 of the Hardhats. And the Hardhats now have a 7-0 lead over the Scottsbluff Zephyrs. Second pitch that he saw, and he absolutely torched it. What a hit by Todd Stevens. His first home run of the season to go along with 4 doubles in what are now 7 hits. First pitch to Holden Jackson, rides too far inside for ball 1. So with 1 out, it's now a 7-0 Hardhats lead here in the bottom of the 4th. He got everything on that ball, Todd Stevens did. 1-0 to Jackson. Breaking ball, just missed outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Jackson 1 for 1, an RBI single, a sac fly RBI. 2-0 his count from Alexis Garola, the first relief pitcher for the Zephyrs. 2-0. Buzzes the tower, a little too far inside. 3-0 now the count to Jackson, playing in right field for the Hardhats. When he's not pitching, he's rotated between left field and right field in the outfield. Definitely no stranger to either spot. 3-0, rides inside again for ball 4. So it's a 4-pitch walk to Holden Jackson as he takes his trot down to first. And that is now going to bring us to Riley McSherry. He's playing the opposite side of the outfield. Holden Jackson, he's out and left. So 1 out and a man on first for the Hardhats left fielder. McSherry came into the game hitting 200. He has walked twice, came around to score his last time on the base path. And he looks at a first pitch ball outside. Riley just 6 hits and 30 at-bats, 5 singles and 1 double. 1-0. Swung on and missed. Off-speed pitch, and the count evens up to a ball and a strike. It was a great swing by McSherry, just got underneath the ball. Holden Jackson, not the biggest lead in the world at first. Now he expands it a little bit. 1-1 to McSherry. That's a called strike, just under his letters. Another breaking pitch from Garola, and the count goes to 1-2. Should a double play not end the inning? Carter Deming's on deck. 1-2 to McSherry. Swung on, and that ball is fouled, so he stays alive at 1-2. Carter Deming, 1 for 1, a single, a run scored, also has a walk under his belt. McSherry still looking for his first hit of the ball game. He's been issued a base on balls twice. 1-2, that ball swung on and hit high in the air to left center. Underneath it from center is Trevor Garcia. He makes the run to his right and he makes the catch. So an F8 in the scorebook for those scoring with us at home. 2 down, still with a man on first. Will now bring us to Carter Deming. 7-0 the Hardhats lead. Here in the bottom half of the 4th against the West Coast Zephyrs of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Deming, mentioned earlier, 1 for 1, a walk, a single, a run scored under his belt. First pitch. Right high and inside, ball 1. Deming still has a man on first and Holden Jackson to account for. Try and knock him in with 2 outs. Garola from the stretch, 1-0. Fastball misses low and away, 2 balls, no strikes to the Hardhats third baseman. Deming, a very versatile player. Last year spent a lot of time at second. He's played the vast majority of this year at third. Defensively sensational. Runner goes. 2-0, high and inside, ball 3. and there will be no throw to second. So Holden Jackson advances on a defensive indifference. 3-0 now the count to Deming. But as I mentioned with Tom earlier in our pregame festivities, if Carter can really string together his offense, he will be dynamite. He's very patient at the plate, as it shows on that next pitch. He has issued a 4-pitch base on balls. That's the second time he's been walked. So with 2 outs, it's now men on first and second. That'll bring us to Connor King, who's 0 for 2. With a fly out, he reached on an error. That error knocked in 2 runs, and Tom mentioned he should get credit for at least the first of those 2 runs for an RBI. First pitch to King. Misses low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the hard hat center fielder. And heck, I'll jump on that bandwagon for the lefty currently in the batter's box. He was stranded at third the last time he was on the base path. Men on first and second for him. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. It's a 7-0 Hard Hats lead. Next pitch is swung on, and it's hit to first. Easy stops made by A.J. Powell. He touches the bag himself, and that will end the bottom half of the 4th inning. Well, the Hard Hats get an extra run put on the board on the power of 1 hit. Boy, that was a powerful hit. That was a solo jack by Todd Stevens. There were no errors charged to the Zephyrs, and there were 2 men left on the base path, 1 in scoring position. We have finished 4 innings of play, and the Hard Hats now have a 7-0 lead over the Zephyrs. A new hurler on the mound for Post 22. We'll give you everything you need to know about that, gentlemen, in just a few moments. We'll be right back with the top half of the 5th here on Hardhats-TV, found on Post22Baseball.com.
To try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRAS IPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
It looks like the afternoon of Tommy Wall has come to its conclusion after 2 stellar innings of relief. Wall didn't allow a single run. Forget about that, not even a single hit. Retired all 6 batters that he saw. He struck out 2 of them and didn't issue a free pass, all on 34 pitches. Zach Sumption now takes over hurling duties for the Hard Hats. If we take a look at Zach Sumption's stat line, this will only be his 3rd appearance of the year. All of them have been in relief. Just an inning and a third of work under his belt. No strikeouts, no walks, a 5.25 ERA. He's only been hit on 3 times this season. So Sumption now comes into the ballgame. He will face 5, 6, and 7 in the Zephyrs order. Evan Hughes, Braden Lofink, and Trent Richter. Hughes 0 for 1, a backwards K in the scorebook. First of only 2 Will Moore strikeouts from his stint in the game earlier. First pitch to Hughes misses outside on a fastball, ball 1. Sumption, a right-handed pitcher, dealing to the left-handed hitting Evan Hughes. Another pitch high and away, ball 2. 2-0 now the count. Sumption quickly back to work, and the 2-0 is a called strike at his knees. 2 balls and a strike, now the count to Hughes.
Perfect game for Coach Mitch Messer to get some people into the game that he hasn't seen for a while, and Sumption pitching is one of them.
2-1, swung on and missed. The count evens up at deuces now, 2-2.
You get Stevens catching, of course, and Holden Jackson in right.
2-2, caught him looking, strike 3. Fastball on the outside corner. Another backwards K for Hughes. That's the first strikeout in relief for Zach Sumption. 1 up, 1 down will bring up Braden Lofink. Lofink also has a backwards K on his stat line. That was the second of 2 Will Moore strikeouts. First pitch from Sumption misses low and away. He starts off 1-0.
String of 10 men in a row retired now by Post 22 pitching in the game, starting with Moore.
1-0 is swung on and missed on a high fastball. Count evens up at 1-1.
Moore retired the last 3 men he faced. Tommy Wall, all 6 men he faced.
1-1, high and outside. 2 balls and a strike now from Sumption to Lofink. Good efficiency by these Hardhats pitchers. 2-1. Misses low and away. 3 balls and a strike now the count from Sumption to Lofig. Looking to avoid a 1-out base on balls. Sumption back to it. 3-1. Swung on, and that's hit by a diving Luke Ferdinand down the first base line and into right for a base hit. Lofig thinks about taking second. Instead, he'll trot back to first as Holden Jackson relays it into Walker Paz. So it's a 1-out single for Braden Lofig. A man is aboard on the base path, and that'll bring us to Trent Richter, who's 0 for 1. The ground out to Cooper Bowman. Feels weird. The top half of the fourth, it was all Cooper Bowman. Now not a single ball's been hit to him. I think the Zephyrs have adjusted. First pitch to Richter. Fastball at his knee, strike 1. 0-1 the count here to the Zephyr shortstop. Should the double play not end the inning, Cody Snelling's on deck for the Zephyrs. Sumption will look to first. 0-1, swung on and missed. Throw to first is not in time. Stevens trying to get the pick off. And it's no balls and 2 strikes to Richter. Richter grounded out in the top of the second to short to end the inning. 0-2. Just inside from Sumption, and the count goes to 1-2. Braden Lofig takes his lead off at first, being held by Luke Ferdinand. 1-2. Misses low. Runner thought about going. Stevens to first is not in time. Oh my goodness. Braden Lofig was almost caught asleep at the switch. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and he stays on first. Trent Richter trying to knock him along the base path.
Todd Stroh was shoulder high to the foul side of the first base bag. Had he gotten even waist high to the infield side of the bag, they would have had him.
Check down to first, not there in time, and Lofig is tethered to the bag. 2-2 now the count. Sumption deals. Swung on, and that ball's hit to short. Bowman's got it. To second for 1. To first for 2. Got it. Double play. 6-4-3 in the scorebook, and that is going to end the top half of the 5th inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, nobody left on the base path. And at the end of 4.5, the Hardhats 7-0 lead has been preserved. We'll go now to the bottom half of the 5th. The top of the order due up. Walker Paz, Zach Solano, and Cooper Bowman. We'll go back to the sticks. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks. You are listening to and watching Hardhats-TV, which you can find all season long on post22baseball.com.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
Trusted Choice Insurance.
4.5 innings have been played here at Floyd Fitzgerald Stadium, and it's the Hardhats. Now up to bat, they've preserved their 7-0 lead, and they look to keep blowing it open. Keep in mind, if the Hardhats score 3 runs in this inning, the game will come to its conclusion. They have the top of the order, tasked with getting that 3-run rally started. Numbers across the board through 4.5 for Scottsbluff. It's no runs, 3 hits, 3 errors. In the Hardhats, 7 runs, 7 hits, not a single blemish on defense. Alexis Garola back on the mound once again, and his first pitch to Walker Paz is swung on and foul tipped into the glove. 0-1 the count here to Paz, who is 1 for 2 on the game with a single, a walk, and a strikeout. He has not made it past second base on the opportunities he's made it on the base path. 0-1. Swung on, and that ball's hit right back to Garola on the mound. He bobbles it, but he gets the underhand toss to first for the 1-3 putout. 1 up, 1 down now brings us to Zach Solano, the DH. Solano on the ballgame, 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Those came back in the bottom half of the first. Since then, he's been retired on 2 flyouts, 1 to center and 1 to left. 1 out, base path is empty for Solano. First pitch from Garola. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into the gap and into left for a base hit. So Solano gets his second hit of the ball game. This one's a single. One out. There's a man aboard. Now here comes Cooper Bowman, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI single, a run scored, grounded into a fielder's choice. Sorry, 1 for 3. Grounded into a fielder's choice and flew out to center. First pitch to Bowman is a called strike at his knees. Taking off for second, Solano, and he's safe. So Zach Solano earns a stolen base. Bowman starts behind 0-1, and he has a man in scoring position to potentially knock in. Bowman had a 15-game hitting streak snapped last night against Post 320, in which he went 0 for 3 with a walk and an RBI ground out. Next pitch, a little too far inside to Bowman, and his count evens up at a ball and a strike. Luke Ferdinand is on deck. He's 0 for 3, looking for his first hit of the ball game. Cooper Bowman already has one. Here comes the 1-1 to Bowman. Swung on, and that ball is drilled fair into left field for a base hit. Zach Solano gets the green light. He's rounding third, and he's going to go home. Cooper Bowman is up easy on second with a stand-up RBI double. And now the Hardhats lead is 8-0 with another man in scoring position and one out here in the bottom of the fifth. So now Luke Ferdinand looks to keep things going here. Look for his first hit of this ball game. Cooper Bowman standing on second with the one-out RBI double. 8-0 now. In the bottom of the fifth, Hardhats have the lead. First pitch from Garola, way outside on Ferdinand, and he starts ahead 1-0. Todd Stevens is on deck. Had a colossal home run into left. Most recent plate appearance. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Garola looks at Bowman on second. Deals a 1-0 to Ferdinand. That pitch rides high. 2 balls, no strikes. Ferdinand, a strikeout, a ground out to second, a fly out to left. 0 for 3 in our scorebooks. 2-0 to Ferdinand. Swung on, and that ball's fouled into the grandstand to our left, and the count goes to 2-1.
Well, Post 22 could end this game, Mark, if they can get a couple more runs here in the bottom of the fifth on the 10-run rule. Expos beat this Scottsbluff team 6-3 in the first game today.
2-1 from Garola is low and away. 3 balls and a strike now the count here to Ferdinand. And heck, to that point of possibly ending this time, if Luke Ferdinand shows off his muscle and a hit clears the ballpark, then we're about to get ready to wrap up for our postgame show. 3-1. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into right field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Cooper Bowman's got a green light and then a stop sign relatively quickly. That was a great relay from Braden Lofink in right. So it's a 1-out single for Luke Ferdinand. Cooper Bowman now 90 feet away from scoring. He's on third, and that's going to bring up Todd Stevens with men on the corners.
10 hits in the game now for the Hardhats.
Todd Stevens is 2 for 3 in this ball game. An RBI double, reached on an error, a stolen base, a solo home run, and 3 runs scored. Safe to say he's making my job easier as to who to pick for MVP. First pitch, swung on and missed. Throw down to first is not in time. Luke Ferdinand was a little too far off the bag for our comfort. But no harm, no foul, and it's 0-1 to Stevens. Stevens has men on the corners with 1 out here in the bottom of the fifth. Anything out of the infield will knock in Cooper Bowman. 0-1, swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to left. The ball is all the way to the warning track, and making the catch in left is Brady Sint. That's going to score Cooper Bowman, so it's an RBI sac fly. From Todd Stevens, he just keeps adding to his banner day, and the Hardhats now have a 9-0 lead with 2 outs and a man on first here in the bottom half of the fifth. So now Holden Jackson is up. trying to keep this going here. The man on first and 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. First pitch to Jackson. Little high at his letters, ball 1. Jackson on the ball game, 1 for 1, an RBI single, a sac fly RBI to center, and a base on balls. Garola from the stretch, 1-0 to Jackson, misses low and away, and the count eventually makes its way to 2 balls and no strikes. Riley McSherry is on deck should Jackson keep this inning going. McSherry 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a run scored. Also a fly out to center. Ferdinand takes a big lead. Runner goes. Pitch is swung on, and it's hit high in the air to second. Underneath it is Felix, and he makes the catch. That's going to end the bottom half of the 5th on a pop 4. So for the Hardhats, it's 2 runs accumulated on the power of 2 hits. There were no errors charged to the Zephyrs defense, and there was 1 man left on the base path. 5 full frames are in the books, and the Hardhats now have a 9-0 lead over the West Coast Zephyrs of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. We'll be right back with the top half of the 6th inning. Zach Sumption's back out on the mound for the Hardhats. He'll face 8-9-1 in the Scottsbluff order. Stick around, folks. You are watching and listening to Hardhats-TV, which can be found all season long on post22baseball.com. All set now for the beginning of the 6th inning here at the Fitz. Mark Benetti and Tom Rudebush alongside you in the broadcast booth. The Hardhats have a 9-0 lead, and they look to keep it that way as Zach Sumption comes out for what will be his 2nd inning of relief. He relieved Tommy Wall, who relieved the starter, Will Moore. Numbers across the board through 5 for the West Coast Zephyrs of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. It's 0 runs, 3 hits, 3 blemishes on defense. And the Hardhats, it's 9 runs on 10 hits with no errors. Sumption will face 8-9-1 in the Zephyrs order. That starts off with Cody Snelling, the catcher. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. First pitch is foul directly behind home plate, and Snelling starts behind 0-1. It's just a gorgeous day for baseball. It's still 85 degrees. That's the temperature we started off this ball game with. 0-1 is popped foul. And over our press box, the count goes to 0-2 now for Snelling. Sumption already has 1 strikeout in relief. He's a pitch away from his 2nd. Every Hardhats pitcher that has come in this game so far has registered 2 Ks in the scorebook. Full windup for Sumption. 0-2 to Snelling. It's swung on and fouled, and the Zephyrs catcher stays alive. A.J. Powell comes over from the on-deck circle and retrieves the ball for the umpire. Powell is also 0 for 1. He has a backwards K in the book. He's on deck. 0-2 to Snelling. Hits him. And Cody Snelling will take a free trip to first. Tom, that is a talking point you love to make in these ball games. How many times have we seen a hit batsman with 2 strikes?
I think you've been keeping the count here lately, so I'll let you handle that one. But I'm not talking about it anymore. It just seems to make it worse.
So now we go to A.J. Powell. First pitch to Powell is a little too high for our umpire's taste. Ball 1. 1-0 the count to Powell. I mentioned earlier 0 for 1 with a backwards K in the scorebook. Trevor Garcia, the center fielder, now on deck. 1-0. Pitch misses low, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes from Zach Sumption to Powell. Powell has a man on first and nobody out here in the top half of the 6th. The Hardhats have a 9-0 lead over the Zephyrs, looking to keep it that way. 2-0. Misses low, and the count quickly expands to 3 balls and no strikes. 3-0 now the count. Sumption a peek to first, and he deals. That's a called strike at the knees of A.J. Powell. 3-1 now the count. 5 strikeouts by Hardhats pitching in this game. 2 for Will Moore, 2 for Tommy Wall, 1 for Sumption. 3-1. Called strike at the belt. And now the count goes full. So credit Sumption for battling back. He looks to join the 2 strikeout club of those pitchers that have been inserted into this ballgame. Quickly back to work goes Sumption. Payoff pitch. Swung on, and that ball is hit to second. Paz gets the scoop to second for 1, to first for 2. Double play. They got it. A 4-6-3 double play. That's the second one turned by the Hardhats infield defense. 2 down, and that's going to bring us to the top of the order to Trevor Garcia.
20th double play on the season now for Post 22, and this their 20th game.
Thought for a moment with how weakly that ball was hit to second that the Hardhats weren't going to get the out at first, but they did. Quick hands in the infield. First pitch to Trevor Garcia, the leadoff batter. Misses high and away for ball 1. Garcia 1 for 2 on the ball game with 1 of only 3 of the Scottsbluff hits.
I think if we would see a replay, the timing was just a little bit off on the toss from Walker to Cooper, but Cooper was about a step past the bag when he actually took that throw, it looked like.
Next pitch to Garcia misses away. 2 balls, no strikes to count from Sumption. He is quickly back to work on the mound. 2-0 is swung on and fouled. That goes just over the left side of our press box. 2 balls and a strike. And here comes the 2-1 from Sumption to Garcia. That ball is swung on and lined over the head of Cooper Bowman and into left for a base hit. So McSherry comes in to field it, and the relay gets in. Second hit of the ball game for Garcia. Second by virtue of a single, and this one comes with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. That is going to bring us to Carlos Felix, the second baseman. Felix 0 for 2, lined into a double play, also grounded out to Cooper Bowman. First pitch, swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. Both of those plays actually dealt with the shortstop Cooper Bowman, an L6-3 double play and then the 6-3 ground out. Sumption checks down to first. It's not there in time. No balls to strike the count to Carlos Felix. 0-1 from Sumption. Misses low and inside. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. Brady sent the left fielder is on deck. Should Felix keep this inning going? If not, the Hardhats will go to 7, 8, 9 in the order. McSherry, Deming, and King. Another check down to first, not there in time. And so Sumption will gear up for a 1-1 pitch. Carlos Felix across from him at home plate. 1-1 from Sumption. Just missed outside. 2 balls and a strike to count. Sumption wanted that call. He's not going to get it. Holding at first is Ferdinand with Trevor Garcia on there with a 2-out single. 2-1, swung on and hit up the middle. Bowman gets a nice stop at short, underhand toss to seconds in time. My goodness, Cooper Bowman just makes it look easy. The 6-4 fielder's choice on the force out ends the inning. And now 5.5 frames have been concluded. No runs on a hit with no errors. 1 man left on the base path. And at the end of 5.5, the Hardhats' 9-0 lead is still intact. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the 6th. Rylan McSherry, Carter Deming, and Connor King do up for your Hardhats. You are listening to and watching Hardhats-TV, which can be found all season long on post22baseball.com.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Well, it looks like we have another change defensively for the West Coast Zephyrs as we head into the bottom half of the 6th inning. Alexis Garola's relief stint has come to its conclusion. And now taking over pitching duties is number 6, A.J. Powell, who was moved over from first base to throw on the mound. Moving to first base is Cooper Buckhammer, the designated hitter. So the Zephyrs now lose their DH as Buckhammer has been placed in the game defensively. Garola ended up going 2 2/3 innings. And he gave up 5 hits and 5 runs, all of which were earned. And he will face Riley McSherry, and his first pitch is drilled to left, and that ball is gone. That's off the yellow. Or no, they're going to say that it's in the field. It should be a home run. That ball went off the yellow striping. And Coach Ewing, who's sitting in the third base coach's box, can't believe it. Tom, I'm going to defer to your veteran wisdom, but I'm almost positive that's a home run.
Bobby Bennett seemed to say that, yes, the ball hit, but the ball came back into the field to play. If it would have hit that yellow line and bounced over, it would have been a home run. But I'm not so sure that that's the way that the rule is interpreted here with the yellow line.
Wow.
So, well, Riley gets a double.
Well, first pitch to Carter Deming misses for ball 1 from A.J. Powell. So Riley McSherry thought he had a home run. Instead, he's standing on second. That leadoff double. 1-0 to Deming. Curveball called strike at his knees, and the count evens up to a ball and a strike.
Riley thought he had ended the game.
Absolutely right. It should have. It's always been my understanding because in the majors that happens. The ball comes back in. It's irrelevant. Everybody's touching them all. 1-1. Deming hits that ball into left for a base hit. Riley McSherry gets the green light. He's going to come home. And the throw from left is not in time. And that is going to end the ball game. It's a walk-off RBI single for Carter Deming, and the Hardhats will win this one in 5.5 innings. 10-0 the final score. So a solid showing from the Hardhats. We finished with 10 runs on the power of 12 hits and not a single error on defense compared to Scottsbluff. No runs on 4 hits with 3 blemishes on defense. Folks, we're going to take a quick breather. Tom and I will gather our thoughts and some numbers and statistics. We'll present to you a post-game MVP. We'll also set the table for Pier coming up on Wednesday, and then a nice trip to the Rocky Mountain State, where Premier West will play host to your Hardhats for 3 games next weekend. We'll be right back here on Hardhats-TV, which you can find all season long on post22baseball.com.
Some folks say it doesn't matter how you get the job done, as long as it gets done. To us, however, we won't be satisfied unless performance is coupled with integrity. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRAS IPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701.
Mark, the Hardhats have now won 11 in a row. Haven't lost since May 14th in Cheyenne, 12-7, and they run their record now to 18 wins and 2 losses on the season. Scottsbluff drops to 3-10 on the year, and a quick start, 3 runs in the first inning for Post 22. Cooper Bowman had an RBI hit. Todd Stevens a run-scoring double. Holden Jackson a run-scoring single, and it was 3-0 after 1. 3 more runs in the third inning gave Post 22 a 6-0 lead. They added a run in the fourth on a home run by Todd Stevens, 2 more in the fifth, and a run in the sixth to end the game when McSherry doubled and Deming singled to end the game on the 10-run rule. 10 runs, 12 hits, and no errors with 10 left for Post 22. No runs, 4 hits, 3 errors, and 3 left for Scottsbluff. Will Moore started, and I guess he gets the win. Will's 4-0 now in the season, gave up 2 hits, no runs. Tommy Wall pitched 2 innings and gave up nothing. He had 2 strikeouts, retired all 6 men he faced, and then ending the game was Well, Carter Demme pitched what? 2 innings?
Zach Sumption pitched 2 innings.
I
as
mean,
well, yes.
not Demme, but Sumption, 2 innings. Yep. So I guess the beat goes on, Mark.
Absolutely. And just to recap Zach Sumption's relief appearance, like Tom said, it was 2 innings. He allowed 2 hits, but not a single run, 1 strikeout, and 1 hit batsman. And that's something, speaking of the beat going on, that I want to point out from this Hardhats club. Only 1 free base runner was earned. The other 4 gentlemen that got on base had to earn it by virtue of a hit, but there was 0 bases on balls issued by this Hardhats club. The only one blemish in that department, though, was the hit batsman. That was courtesy of Zach Sumption. But that was so great to see. 5 strikeouts and not a single base on balls for this Hardhats pitching staff in 6 innings pitched between Will Moore, Tommy Wall, and Zach Sumption. And you're right, Tom, the beat goes on. It's 11 wins in a row now for the Hardhats. They've done some great things in these last couple of games. They're playing more complete baseball as of recently. We saw that last night with post 320. Only 3 errors on the game, but nothing really came back to bite them in that department. Prior to that, they play Harrisburg. They win 17-0, not a single blemish on 16 hits. And then it's Watertown, where it's 3 runs on 6 hits with 2 errors. And so as of recently, this post-22 club is playing with more confidence. They're playing better, complete baseball, and we're seeing some great things. And speaking of complete baseball, my MVP today goes to Todd Stevens. He catched a great game today for the Hardhats. And today, offensively, he ended up going 2 for 3 with an RBI double, a solo home run, reached on an error, came around to score 3 times, also had a sac fly RBI, so he had 3 ribbies on the ball game today. Todd was just sensational. Oh, and by the way, throwing a stolen base for him as well. So number 17 gets my MVP today, and I think there's no question about it. Great performances all around by the Hardhats, don't get me wrong, but Todd, he was just on fire from start to finish, and you can't take anything away from that.
Well, and I think Post 22 realizes, the coaching staff does, that the teams that Post 22 has been beating lately have not been exactly powerhouse teams. And they'll play a team that against Pierre, where they swept a doubleheader last Memorial Day Monday. One of those games did go extra innings. But hold on to your hats, because things will be a little bit different when they play the premier team down in Denver over the weekend, 1 weekend from today. And
it will be. You know, once the competition starts elevating for this Hardhats club, it will get tougher. But at the same time, Tom, you also have to look at the fact that, yes, while they're not playing powerhouse teams, you still have to go out there and execute. So credit to this Hardhats team for going out there and executing the game plan. Defense was sensational today, as it has been the past couple of games, and obviously the power was there. Another double-digit hit total for the Hardhats in this most recent string of games. And like you mentioned on the final box score, 10 runs, 12 hits, no errors. And Scottsbluff, no runs, 4 hits, and 3 errors. But you have to execute the game plan at the end of the day. That's what the Hardhats have done, and that's why they've won 11 consecutive matchups.
Next game up for Post 22 is Wednesday night against Pierre. The Expos will play at 5, and the Hardhats and Pierre at 7:30. It will be Pie Night. Join us for the annual Pie Night here at Fitzgerald Stadium. You can get your ticket at the gate for a chance to win a pie. And they will be drawing winning ticket numbers during the game for a pie of your choice, with over 60 pies to choose from. So if you're going to win early, you got to win early. If you're going to win early, because then you get your choice. You know, you win in the 5th or 6th or 7th innings, you don't have quite the choice you had in the first inning. So you guys who know how to win these things, you better win early on Wednesday night. That's always a popular night, and I think I'll have to collect a ticket for that for those drawings.
I think I might have to jump into that as well and get a couple of tickets of my own. But like you said, whether you have the choice or not, pie's pie. I mean,
Why would you get 2 tickets?
2 more chances to win.
Yeah, but everybody else only gets 1.
Well, you know, I'm going to try and bend the rules this year. I'm going to add another one.
Now we know what kind of person, don't we, Destin, that he is. Yeah, we're going to have to keep our eye on him. You'll try to bend the rules to his advantage.
Hey, I'm a competitor. I play for keeps. And especially when pie's on the line, come on, you can't fault me for that.
Justify it in your mind any way you want.
Fun times had by all in our booth.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon, Tom. We will see you Wednesday when Pierre comes to town for Pie Night. We're going to be jockeying for pies, whether we have to bend the rules or not. Should be a very fun night. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for joining us on Hardhats-TV this afternoon, folks. For my super amazing partner in crime, the longtime voice of Post 22 Baseball, Tom Rudabush, and our director, Destin Heumann. This is Mark Benetti saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you when Pierre comes to town Wednesday night.